Hello aspirants, welcome to Epitome IAS. This is Mansoor. So in last class we have seen chapter 1 of 7th class NCERT, and in today's class we will be seeing chapter 2, that is inside our earth of 7th class NCERT. So basically if you see this, the name of the chapter, it is talking about inside our earth. That means today we are going to learn what are the things that were present inside our earth, right? So previously in in class 6th NCERT we have seen that earth is having different types of layers. In this class as well we will be seeing, or we will be recalling that particular thing. And if you compare earth with the onion, so when you are peeling off the onion, what you will be seeing, if you are trying to remove the layers of the onion, you will be going deeper into the core of that onion. In the same way, earth, if you imagine it as a ball, even earth is also having different types of layers. And in that, earlier we understood that, we have seen that we are having three layers. We are having three layers. So what are the? First layer is crust. Second layer is mantle. Third layer is core. And even this mantle is divided as upper mantle and lower mantle. Upper mantle and lower mantle. And even core is divided as upper core and lower core. Okay. Now what we are going to see in this particular chapter is, in this particular chapter he is saying that the depth of the crust is 35 kilometers. Depth of a crust is 35 kilometers, and that too continental crust will be having a depth of 35 kilometers. And what about oceanic crust? Oceanic crust will be having a depth of up to 5 kilometers. I am not telling exactly you will be having 5 kilometers. This is an approximate number. Okay. But what you have to understand is, compared to oceanic crust, the depth or the length or the width of this continental crust is very high. This oceanic crust is thinner than continental crust. Okay, that is the point to be remembered here. And the point here is, the main materials or the main minerals which were found in the crust are silica and aluminium. So if you see here, there is one more classification. So in crust, majoritarily in continental crust, you can see that silica and aluminium will be abundant. Okay. So silica is represented as Si and aluminium is represented as Al. So you can tell that the continental crust, which is comprising of silica and aluminium, we can call this continental crust as Cl. That means the majority of silica, majority of aluminium is found in the continental crust. Okay. And if you see the oceanic crust, in oceanic crust you will be finding a majority of silica and magnesium. And silica is represented as Sa, magnesium is represented as Ma. So we can call this oceanic crust as Sema. Are you getting my point? So the point here is, Cl is represented to oceanic continental crust, and Sema is represented as oceanic crust. This is also an important statement. Many of the times these two things have been asked in UPSC exam and other government exams as well. So the point here is, what we should understand or what we should learn from this particular chapter, we should understand that the outermost layer is crust, and even this crust was divided into two, continental crust as well as oceanic crust. And in oceanic crust, what are the two minerals that were abundant? The two minerals are silica and magnesium, and we call that particular layer as a Sema layer. And in continental crust we can see silica and aluminium, and that particular layer we call it as an CL layer. Okay. Now if you see the mantle, what is where we can find the mantle? Mantle is seen below. Mantle is seen below the crust. And if you see the depth or the length of that mantle, the mantle varies up to 2900 kilometers. That means if you are standing on a floor or surface of the earth, if you go 2900 kilometers depth deeper, until then that particular layer is called as a mantle. If you go up to 35 kilometers, you can find crust, and after 35 kilometers, you can find mantle. Okay. Then the third important layer which we can see is a core. Even if you see the core, the most important minerals that were found in core is nickel and ferrous, or we can tell that nickel and iron. This nickel is represented as Ni and iron is represented as Fe. Okay. Now we can tell that this crust or this core we can tell, or we can tell that particular layer as knife layer. Okay. So we can tell that core as knife layer because we can see the high abundance of nickel and high abundance of iron in the core. Okay. Now the next important keyword given in this particular chapter is rocks and minerals. So very simply, if we want to understand the different types of rocks that were present in the earth, we should understand that there are three kinds of rocks. What are the three kinds of rocks that were seen or that were present on the earth? Three kinds of rocks. First one is igneous rocks. Second one is metamorphic rocks, or we can tell as sedimentary rocks. Third type of rock is metamorphic rock. So the point here is, what is meant by an igneous rock? How the formation or how the igneous rocks were formed. If you see here, we already know that, we already understood that there is an chamber which consists of magma. Where does this magma layer exist? This magma layer is between the crust and the mantle. And that particular layer we call it as an asthenosphere. Do you remember that point? Now the point here is, the magma which is present in that asthenosphere or the magma chamber will be coming out of the surface or will be coming out of the crust in the form of lava. Now what happens? Over a period of time, this lava will travel to a certain distance and this lava will be cooling down. And after the process of solidification or after the process of cooling down of that lava, we can find a hard solid structure. That hard solid structure is nothing but igneous rock. So we can call these igneous rocks as primary rocks. Do you obey with that particular point? Why we are calling igneous rocks as primary rocks? Because these are the rocks that were initially formed on the earth's surface. How they are formed? Because of the lava. Because of cooling down of the lava. And now the point here is, even these igneous rocks are also divided into two types. What are they? One, intrusive igneous rocks. Second one, extrusive igneous rocks. What is meant by intrusive igneous rock? See, we understood that the lava which is coming out of this magma chamber will be solidified or will be cooled down. Then we will be getting a igneous rock. So in this process, what happens is, for suppose if lava is coming out of the surface, lava is coming out of the crust, that means if we are able to see that particular lava, then if it is solidifying, then if it is cooling, then that particular structure or that particular form of igneous rock is called as extrusive igneous rocks. What does it mean? It means that the igneous rocks which are formed out of the surface or on the surface or on the crust, is called as extrusive igneous rocks. Then what about intrusive igneous rocks? Those igneous rocks which were formed inside the crust. Are you getting my point? If the rocks are formed outside the crust, then that particular rock is called as extrusive igneous rocks. If the solidification is happening inside the crust, that particular stone or that particular rock is called as intrusive igneous rocks. Is that clear? Right. Now, the point here is, what is meant by a sedimentary rock and how these sedimentary rocks are formed? The name itself is saying that it is a rock which having sediments. And we all know that because of weathering and erosion, these sediments are transported and these sediments are accumulated at a certain point. Then what happens? Over a period of time, it undergoes, all those sediments will be undergoing lithification. All those sediments will be undergoing solidification. As a result, we can find sedimentary rocks. The point here is, the important point here is, these sedimentary rocks will be having fossils. Fossils of plants, fossils of animals. How the sedimentary rocks contain the fossils? Obviously, we are talking that sedimentary rock is nothing but it is a rock formed because of the sediments. So, in that particular sediment, we will be having sediments of animals, sediments of plants. Those sediments are nothing but the fossils. Okay. So, sedimentary rock is the only rock in which we can find the fossils. Even if you see the petroleum, even if you see the coal, or even if you see the any important mineral or element or thing, all those things were present in this particular sedimentary rocks. You can't find these important minerals or elements or metals in igneous rocks. You cannot find the important minerals, materials in metamorphic rocks. You can find only in sedimentary rocks. So, sedimentary rock is very important. Okay. Now, the third type of rock is metamorphic rocks. How these metamorphic rocks are formed? These metamorphic rocks are formed from igneous rocks as well as sedimentary rocks. How is that possible? Because due to excess pressure, due to excess temperature, these sedimentary rocks or the igneous rocks will be transforming into metamorphic rocks. The point here is, the agent which is playing the important role in this conversation or in this transformation is temperature as well as pressure. Because of temperature and pressure only, the transformation of sedimentary rocks to metamorphic rock or the transformation of igneous rock to metamorphic rock is possible. Are you getting my point? So, in a simple way, we can tell that metamorphic rock is nothing but the transformed rock from igneous rock as well as the sedimentary rock. So, these are the three types of rocks that were present in Earth's crust or Earth's interior. Now, we should understand the cycle of these rocks. So, what is rock cycle? Rock cycle is nothing but, see, first of all, we understood that how igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks were formed. In this picture, he was clearly telling that the magma which is present in this volcano will be coming out and will be cooling down, and this turns as an igneous rock. Then this igneous rock will be converted into sediments. These sediments will be transported and deposited at a place. Over a period of time, the lithification and solidification will be happening. Then these sediments will be converted as sedimentary rocks. Then what happens? Because of excessive pressure and temperature, these sedimentary rocks will be converted into metamorphic rocks. Then what happens? These metamorphic rocks, again, they will be converted into magma. How? Because of these earthquakes, because of the internal movement of these plates, the destruction of rock will happen, and those destructed rocks will be going into the deeper layers of the earth. And because of presence of a huge amount of heat below the crust, these rocks will be melted and again they converted into magma. And again this magma will be coming out of the volcano and again igneous rocks will be formed. From those igneous rocks, again this cycle will be continued. This is one way of seeing a rock cycle. There is one more way. What was that way? See, we understood how igneous rock is formed. And in first way, we understood that from igneous rocks, we are going to sedimentary rocks, then metamorphic rocks. But there is a possibility that these igneous rocks will be directly transformed into metamorphic rocks. There is no rule that igneous rock should be transmitted or transformed into sedimentary rocks, then only they should be transformed into metamorphic rocks. There is no rule like that. The igneous rocks directly can convert into metamorphic rocks. Are you getting my point? And the point here is, the third way of looking the thing is, now sedimentary rocks, in first way we understood that these sedimentary rocks will transform into metamorphic, then these metamorphic rocks will be distracted and they will be going into magma chamber. That is one way. There is one more way, that these sedimentary rocks can bypass this route and they can be underlaid or they can be destroyed and they can transform as a magma. Are you getting my point? So the entire process will be repeating. The entire process will be done. And we never know how much years it takes, but still this process is an inevitable process. And in this process, the rocks will be transforming from igneous to sedimentary, or igneous to metamorphic, or metamorphic to magma, or sedimentary to magma. Sometimes igneous rocks as well changes into magma. Okay. So that is the point we should be understood. Okay. Now, in these rocks, we can find minerals, important minerals. For example, gold, silver, aluminium, nickel, iron. All these important minerals are found in between these rocks. So majority of the minerals are found in sedimentary rocks. Majority of the fossils were found between the sedimentary rocks. As we discussed, coal is a form of sedimentary rock. Coal we can find in sedimentary rocks. And petroleum we can find in sedimentary rocks. Are you getting my point? So that is what mentioned in this chapter 2, 7th class NCERT chapter 2. Okay. So thank you so much for watching this video. In next class, we will be seeing chapter 3 of 7th class NCERT. So until then, keep liking this video, keep sharing this video with your friends. And if you are having any doubts, just post your doubt in the comment section.